Hey everybody, Elizabeth Varian here. I was live for a moment and then we had some issues. So let's go live again and move that out of the way. So tonight we are talking about what is the time frame from creation to experiencing manifestation. Now, if you hear any background noise, the Bible study seems to be going over their time. So we're just going to let them be in their creation and their joy, and we're going to stay in ours. So from what I understand, I'm the only one who hears it the loudest, so that's probably a good thing. But just in case, I thought I'd let you know. So last week, thank you so much for allowing me some time off. I was completely exhausted because I had created an abundance of work. And it was during, and I know exactly when it started. It was during a time last year when I was twiddling my thumbs and I was bored. And I kept saying, I am busy, I am busy. And boy, was I busy. I am no longer speaking that out. I am very thankful and very grateful for all the work that I have, but work where I am relaxed and at peace and I get to go home at regular time. No 2 a.m, midnight runs, maybe a little bit tonight because of the video, but Tuesday nights is fine. Every other night, not so much. So one of the questions that I've had, we're in our 8th week of training. We're in our 9th week, but our 8th playlist. And the common question is how long? How long does it take? When is it from the time that I start creating till the time that I see it show up? How long? And so I thought, last training videos or teaching videos was on all of the various ways that we create. Next week, I'm going to talk about all the various ways that we magnetize our energy or energize our magnets to attract. And in between, I thought this was a good time to answer that question. What is the time frame from creation to experiencing manifestation? So if you pop in here on Facebook Live, just say hi, give me a shout out, let me know you're here. I can see off to the side. Also, no, we're not just putting this on YouTube and Facebook. We're now going to strip the audio out and we're going to create a podcast from it. And so if you're like me and you're listening to Castbox or one of the podcasting directories from your phone to your car through Bluetooth each morning, you can now take that time to do listen to about manifestation and all the 3 laws of manifestation. Now, give me about 2 weeks to get it completed, but just so you know, I think this is one where you don't necessarily need to visually see me. So, having said that, let's jump in and answer the question, right? So, Abraham Hicks, you've heard me mention them before, quoted, "Hi, Jamie, how are you?" I'm assuming that's Jamie as Live Joy today. So Abraham Hicks says, when people ask us how long does it take for something to manifest, we say it takes as long as it takes you to release the resistance. Could be 30 years, could be 40 years, could be 50 years, could be a week, could be tomorrow afternoon. Oh my goodness, what kind of answer is that? Video over, let's go home, right? No, nobody wants to hear that. So please note, everything you have today, you manifested yesterday, last week, last month, or even years ago. There is time between creation and experiencing it in the now. And it differs all the time because it's dependent on a lot of variables that we're not always actively paying attention to. So I keep seeing things popping in over here. So things like emotions, limiting beliefs, like was mentioned in Abraham Hicks's quote, but there's other variables. So when I was creating this, I was looking back at different points in my life when I had manifested and going, well, how long did that take? And what did I do to get that? So I created a list of some examples and the various time frames of how long it took. A boyfriend, this was many years ago. I had focused for 6 months on this really cute actor, and I just dreamt about what it would be like to date this person. I was young, and I didn't think about what it was like to be in a relationship, just what it would be like to be seen at the mall with this person, to hang out with this person, because, when you're young, it's all the superficial stuff. Not for everybody, but for me it was. It took 6 months from that dream to the actual creation of that boyfriend. Let's go forward many decades, and I manifested a trip to Italy where all I had to do was pay for the hotel stay. The airfare was taken care of, the food was taken care of, and the people I met and everything. I had for years, and I had to really think about it, and it was about 2 years ongoing. I think I've mentioned it before. I have lucid dreams where it feels very realistic. It feels like a whole nother time, continuum, like it's a dual life. It's that realistic. And one of the things that really stuck out for me in that dream was that I was there as a photographer in the dream. And I was taking photos of grapevines and the grapes on the vines, but they were too premature. They weren't fully matured yet. I actually have photos of me in a vineyard or a vineyard and taking photos of baby grapes. It's literally to the dream. And that took 2 years to manifest. I had mentioned either the last time or the time before last about the Alaskan cruise. A week before it manifested, I was going through a brochure to help build the website. I needed some information. And I focused just momentarily on, I would love to go on that, and I would like to go to Alaska on a cruise. And so 1 week later, I had manifested the invite to go on this cruise, fully paid for, airfare, hotel, cruise. The only thing I paid for were the excursions. About middle of the recession, I would say about 2009-ish, 2010, I'm guessing here because it's been a while, I manifested a barter opportunity for a French country homestay. And what happened was I had been watching HGTV and I saw one of these travel shows where someone was staying in a French village in a cottage. And I was like, oh, that's wonderful. And it was the middle of the recession, so I was like, I wonder if I could barter that. And then I just kind of giggled and I went on about my business. The very next day, I had a call with the opportunity. Now, I don't have photos of that because I didn't take them up on it. The fear of the recession took over, which is sad because that would have been really cool to do. So just because you manifest something doesn't mean you have to follow through with it. That's something to be aware of. You may manifest a guy and he shows up and you're like, you don't have to date him. Just move on. You may manifest a job and you go to the interview and it's everything that you thought, that on your list of what you wanted, but then you realize it didn't connect with who you were. That's fine. Let it go. So you don't have to follow through with everything you manifest. I manifested a guy calling me. I had a photo that inadvertently looked like this gentleman. And I just, being me, me being me, I looked at the photo and I pointed at it and I'm like, call me. And then I went to bed. When I got up, about 3 hours after that point, he actually called me and I had an opportunity to have dinner with him. So that was, kind of quirky, but 3 hours. The last thing is 1 week. In 1 week's time, I had manifested $6,000 by that Friday. So basically 5 days, because I started on a Monday, and by that Friday, I had the $6,000. And what I did to get that, and I'm purposely giving you all the various ways of how I got to it to show you there are a lot of different ways to get from creation to manifestation. But basically what I did was I woke up every day and I focused on that number, $6,000 in my bank account on Friday. And I had the date, $6,000 every day. And then I'd let it go and I'd go to work and not think about it again, a law of allowing. So I would wake up again, $6,000, just see that number in my bank account this Friday. Go to work, let it go. And when I got to that Friday, I had the $6,000. I had manifested someone who paid in full a website, and someone else who had owed back pay brought in their pay. The next week, I said to myself, well, if that's all I have to do, that's all I'm going to do. The problem is I didn't make a determination with white hot fire. This was the number. So the next week, I didn't manifest anything because my mind shifted from the number from day to day. There was no consistent clarity. I'm kind of glad it worked that way because I don't like getting stuck in always doing things the same way. I like variety. That's who I am. And so I don't have to always just be focusing on that number. I can bring in any amount that I desire or need by a variety of ways, and it makes the life, spice of life fun, right? So you can go from hours instant to years, but there's so many variables as to why it took so long to get those items that were years and why it only took a few hours. I suppose it woke up from my nap for, me to get that call. And when I started thinking about what was all the variables as to what the differences were, I started writing them down. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's tons of these. But then I realized, there's things that are outside my experience. I'm a teacher. I want to bring all experience and information to you. So I went and searched the web to find out what other people found were various blocks. And a lot of them agreed with what I found, but some others added on. So I wanted to have a complete list for you. Now on Facebook, in the post, when we're done with the video, the live, I'm going to put all these links in it, some reference links for you. On YouTube, it'll be down in the description. And if you're listening via podcast, I will also have it in the description as well. So the very first thing, and to me, this one is always the most important. Everyone says limiting beliefs is the first and the most important. But I actually don't think it is. I think it's how attached are you to this thing. And it's actually the opposite of what you're thinking. The more attached to it you are, the more desperate needing it you are, the more you're holding on to it, the less likely you're going to get it quickly. Because you have to go to the law of allowing, which is getting detached from it. So a chiropractor friend of mine had said, Elizabeth, when I could care less about getting patients, they show up. The less I care about them showing up, the more they're apt to show up and fill my calendar. And you know what? That's because of this very law right here of attachment. The less attached you are, the better. The more I'm willing to let it go and shift to the law of allowing. What did I say about the $6,000 in the 1 week's time? I focused on it. I envisioned it. I experienced it. I enveloped it with energy. I didn't go into all those details, but that's basically what I did. But then what did I say? I let it go and I went about my day. I wasn't attached to having it happen. The more attached you are, the longer it takes. The quicker you are to detach from it happening and the how, which we'll get to, the faster it happens. You just think it's the opposite, but you have to get into that law of allowing faster. That's the very reason why it's the third playlist in this training course, is the law of allowing to me is always the most important, because it's one of the most difficult things for people to do. So are you willing to let go of any resistance of having to have it? You know, do you need it? Must happen. Let it go. Relax. Abraham Hicks has a video on YouTube saying, relax and get. That's what they're talking about. So if you want to create faster creation, manifestation, detach from it. Am I connected to having it? Can I see it? It's kind of the opposite of attach, but they go hand in hand. If I can see it and feel it and almost taste already having it in the moment of creation and then detach from it, I'm much better off at getting it faster. So you have to not only detach faster, which is part of the law of attraction, by letting it go, shifting to law of allowing. In law of creation, you are going, okay, I'm connected to having it. And then law of attraction, I energize my magnet by seeing it, feeling it, almost tasting it. I've got this. And then detach, right? Jump, jump, jump. And it shows up. What energy vibration are you in when you're creating it? What is my energy connected to it? Am I excited, grateful, loving about getting it? Or am I fearful, anxious, angry because I have to have it? One is going to create, one is going to keep showing the opposite of it. So are you willing to be in a moment of gratitude, which is law of attraction, and be in an energy, heart-centered or a loving, that it's coming from within you. You have a deep energy connection. Now, I am going to talk about energy vibration. It's going to probably be in February. It's going to be a big topic, so that's why I'm kind of holding off on it, because I think some other things need to be taught first. But your energy vibration is very important for the law of attraction. Am I impatient? Am I willing to release its arrival, which kind of goes along with detachment, trust in God or universe or the infinite possibilities or the source of infinite possibilities, that it is on its way? So again, it goes back to detachment. I trust. I've got this. I don't have to worry about it. I trust. I'm not impatient. I don't have to have it now. It'll show. Right? Relax. It's going. Now, the topic that most people think is the most important is important. I think they're all important, but it's your resistance or limiting beliefs. And I wanted to cover a few of them. Oh, I forgot to put my fan on. So first and foremost, do you believe it's possible that this can happen? The more belief that you believe this can happen, the better your chances are it's going to show up. The least amount of belief, the more it pushes away. The Bible says you need the faith of a mustard seed. Well, a mustard seed is still a hard seed. It's still a physical, you can see it. It's small, but it's still there. So you still have to have the belief that it's possible. Your job is to trust the universe and trust God, right? Do you believe that you can create it? And it's okay if you say, I'm creating with infinite source, I'm creating with God, I'm creating with universe. It's okay if you believe in co-creation. I'm not against that. That's not an issue. Of course, it doesn't matter if I'm for it or against it. The law of manifestation doesn't really care if you believe you're creating with. But do you believe that you can? Not just it's possible, but I can do it. Some people believe it's possible, but for that person over there. Okay? Do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe that you're worthy of it? That's a huge one. Thoughts about what you're manifesting, it's creating your reality. So if you don't believe you deserve it and you're thinking about how unworthy you are of it, you're not going to get it. Or you're going to limit the time, lengthen the time it takes to come to you while you work on believing that you're worthy. Any anxiety or anxiousness, that kind of goes back to what I was saying with impatience. I'm anxious. I have to have it. It has to show up now. If it doesn't show up, I'm going to lose this. I'm not going to have this. I can't do that. Now you're focused on everything the opposite of what you're trying to attract. Anxiety and fear are big blockers. Do you have to believe, and this is something you really have to put yourself in check, do you believe you have to earn it through being worthy or hard work? There is nothing wrong with hard work. I love hard work. I worked my fingers to the bone off this first 3 weeks of the year. I am a hard-working individual. However, I don't have to work this hard to bring in the income. I don't have to work hard to have a perfect relationship. I don't have to work hard to have people love me. I don't have to work hard to have insert whatever it is you believe. Shifting that belief to it comes easily and effortlessly. I'm relaxed. My prayer this Monday was a week of peace and relaxation as I have big manifestation. So do I believe that I have to do all these things or jump through hoops? For those who are Christian, it says, just call on me. Romans 10 lays out. Yet I'll meet Christians all the time who says, well, you're not saved unless you do this, 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 and this. Sorry, that's not what my Bible says. You're creating work because we have some sort of innate teaching, or in our environment that says you have to work hard to earn something. Yet grace is given freely. So, setting those beliefs that you have to work hard, it doesn't mean become lazy. It just means you can still get without doing. You'll have inspired actions, which won't feel like hard work at all. These videos do not feel like hard work at all. Doing these scripts feels like breezy. It's so amazing. I don't want to call it a mistake, but I'm like, Lord, I got to figure out 3 different, the next 3 weeks, what am I going to teach on? I already know exactly what I'm teaching on, and I don't want to call it a mistake, but I'm so excited I couldn't, just do this one. I wanted to do the next one and the next one. And so I already started typing them up to set them aside so I could focus on this week only. Why? Because it's not difficult for me to be in my joy energy, and this is bringing me joy. And that's what I mean by it doesn't take the hard work to bring it. Determining ahead of time, those were your limiting beliefs. So I'm going to come off and hit some other points. If you were going to determine ahead of time how, there's that word, how you will attract what you want, that will bring a block. And I talked about a person that I know that wants to have massive amounts of income come into their life, but they're only focused on the lottery. And they're about 10 years, maybe 7, 8 years, I don't remember how many it is, still waiting on the lottery, still believing, still knowing it's coming about, but they're so focused on the how that if they would shift to just the amount, it would probably come faster in maybe a different, more exciting way that has less obstacles, not having friends and family pop out, not having to be on TV, not having the statistics of so many lottery winners are broke in 3 to 5 years, whatever that statistic is. So if you quit focusing on the how and just focus on this is what specifically I'm looking for, you have a better chance and a faster rate of attracting it. Okay, allowing your emotions to be led by external evidence. So what do I mean by that? I'm believing for $720,000 a year. That's your $60,000 a month. Okay. So $720,000 a year. I'm believing for this. 5 bills showed up. Which am I going to keep my eyes on? The bills? How am I going to get $720,000 this year if all these unexpected bills keep showing up? Poof. Time blocker, right? $720,000 a year. 5 unexpected bills show up. I got $720,000 a year coming. We can afford this. Thank you for the money. Gratitude. Love that, right? Stay in joy. Keep the focus. So allowing your emotions to go and be tossed by the water of the wind. Remember in the Bible, it says in James, if you ask but you do not believe that you should receive, then you are a double-minded man tossed about, right? So you don't want to be that tossed about person by letting external circumstances change your internal belief. Self-talk. What are you talking about with yourself and with others? Are you saying, oh, I'm intending for 720,000, but then your self-talk comes in and goes, how the heck am I going to get $720,000 in a year's time? I didn't even make, a blah, blah, blah percentage of it. Or you go and you talk to someone else. Oh, I'm believing for 720,000. This is my intention. I'm going to make it happen. And they're going to say, really? That's not possible. And who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. Insert all their limiting beliefs. Are you connecting with them? No. Sometimes remember the necklace with the bottle and the heart in it. Sometimes you protect and you don't share with everybody your intentions. You're going to protect the sacred. Sometimes you're going to share it, but only when you know that it's with a person who's going to be in agreement with you, it's going to empower you and take your energy to that next level, which is important on who you hang out with. That's another topic for another day. So your self-talk or your conversations with others can block the time frame between creation and manifestation. Now, just 2 more. And there's a vast array of these, which you're going to find in another video, turns out to be my favorite word of the day. But there's a vast array of reasons as to why things don't show up instantly. These are a good handful, though, that I think really touch on a lot of extended time periods from creation to manifestation. So what are you focused on? Are you focused on what you see, looking for signs to prove it to yourself? It's very similar to emotions being led by the external, but it's also your sight. Are you focused on, oh, these bills keep showing up, these bills keep showing up, these bills keep showing up. I'm looking for a sign. And I haven't decided if I'm going to talk about the 111, the 4 ones, the 3 2s, 3 3s, the repetitious numbers or not, because there's a couple of schools of thoughts that I see coming into play with them. But when some people, so the belief system is 4 1s, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, so 11 11 is a sign from angels or a sign from the universe that you're on your path, that things are coming about. However, if you're looking for 1 1 1 1, guess what? You're manifesting 1 1 1 1. You're getting the law of manifestation because you created wanting to see the duplicate numbers. You got excited about seeing the duplicate numbers. You released it, and now you're seeing the duplicate numbers everywhere, but it's not necessarily a sign from the universe saying you're on your path. It's just saying, hey, you created this. You created seeing the duplicate numbers, which is why I like seeing the duplicate numbers, because it gets me all giddy, but I don't put emphasis on it. I don't make it a sign. Again, I want to stipulate I'm not preaching and teaching a religion. I do insert items from the Bible. I will insert in other training sessions from Lao Tzu, from other philosophers and other belief systems. But the Bible is just so filled with law of manifestation. You know, the Bible basically tells you that Christians are not led by signs. Signs follow Christians. And I use that as my rule of thumb for everything. If I've created something and I brought it to myself, it's not a sign that I have to follow through with it. Remember the French cottage? I may have brought it to myself, but it doesn't mean it's a sign I have to take it. And that's where a lot of people get in trouble. Well, I manifested this guy. He's the right one. But they don't step back and go, is it really what I am desiring? You know, is this really in alignment with where I'm choosing to be? Trust me, I manifested my ex-husband from this very thing. So I was trying to think. Actually, it only took like 3 months to manifest that one. So anyways, so looking for external signs to prove to you that it's coming about is no different than holding on to it and being attached to it. Please show me a sign this is going to happen. Please show me a sign it's going to happen. Well, you're going to get signs, but then it's still not going to happen for a while because you've put a block in your way. And the very last thing, and I actually have a sign on my wall. I have a big prayer wall, and I have a sign on there to remind me of this last one. And that is simply, sometimes there are factors involved in creating your desires that you're not aware of when you ask for them that take a little bit of time. So, good example is a relationship. You know, you may be believing for a relationship, but that person may not be out of that previous relationship, either marriage, dating, or otherwise. They may need to move from one state to another. So you can't quite create that in an hour if the right person is being shifted from New York to Florida, okay, for example. So what I have on my prayer wall is a sign that simply says, circumstances are already in motion to bring it about. And it's a reminder to me not to give up faith, not to quit believing, not to quit energizing my magnet and getting magnetized, but to remember that there are some circumstances outside of our present moment that need to shift and happen for this belief or this event, experience, or person to show up in your life. So, one of the sites that I'm giving you a link to is from Good Vibe blog, and this is a wonderful site. A lot of these sites are wonderful. That's why I don't believe in just one teacher. I believe in all of our teachers. You know, we're all in a tribe together, right? Not just teachers, but all of us human beings are in our tribe. And if we're all in the same mindset of learning, then we're all enjoying the same, massive teacher tribe. So Good Vibe blog has a blog post called How Fast Can It Happen? And I told you that for this teaching, I did go out and I did make sure that I wanted a more complete list than just my experience. And most of the things on the list I have experience with, but I really liked how they stated this to allow for fast manifesting. You want to incorporate these 4 elements, okay? Huge desire, little attachment, strong focus, and belief in success. They're 4, little things in word structure, but they have massive capabilities, massive possibilities. Huge desirement, little attachment, strong focus, and belief in success. So these are all the various techniques, this is why there are various techniques to work to help you to be an intentional person at creation. In the techniques and strategies video, which will go live tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern time, I actually started the video talking about and explaining why I'm a teacher, not a coach, because I've had quite a few people asking me. And I actually touch on this very thing, on why I have multiple coaches that I utilize or courses that I tap into for manifesting. Even though I'm teaching you all of the nuts and bolts and the meat of manifesting, the 3 laws of creation, law of allowing, or law of attraction, and law of allowing. And even though we could sum those up, last week I did a whole list, or last session, I did a whole list of all the various ways that we create. Well, next week's topic is a very long list that I am still handwriting. Actually, I started it here and in handwriting, and I've started typing it up as well. All of the various ways to energize your magnet, to get magnetized, to have the law of attraction. So with all of the ways of creation and attracting and letting go, there's so many possibilities of exercises that you can do to manifest. So tomorrow in the techniques and strategies video, even though it's not necessarily part of this topic, I do cover that. So check in tomorrow either on Facebook, YouTube, for about 12:30 Eastern. It'll go live for that video. So basically, the bottom line is it's time to take back your life and to take it off autopilot. So to do that, you've got to be aware of anything that is a blocking of your time between manifesting now and manifesting years from now. So Jamie, looks like you hung around here for a while. Yay, good to see you. I will keep the video live on Facebook, upload it to YouTube, and within a week or so, we'll have it all on podcasts. Once the video is completely available in Facebook, it's totally processed. I will be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different links for you. We do have a techniques and strategy video going live tomorrow. Not live, but recorded, going active tomorrow, scheduled. And then we do have a take and see action video for Thursday. So until then, it was great to be here. All my technology worked for the most part, which is awesome. And I hope that all my joyful friends are joyful manifestors. Talk to you later. Bye.